Hey guys, Tyler Berger here with Bass Fishing HQ, and today I'm out here reviewing kind of a new lure to the market, to the US market. This is another Japanese lure, kind of like the bounty fish that I talked about in a video a couple weeks ago. And this one is called the PikuPiku 78. It's literally just this hard floating minnow. As you can see, it's kind of curved, but you would look at this minnow and you actually might think it's soft plastic, but this is a hard plastic bait. It almost looks like a wacky rig the way you hook it, because you actually hook it right in the center of the bait. Now, here's the thing about this lure. This is actually a finesse topwater lure. It's a very interesting lure in my opinion, but today I just want to come out here. I want to catch some fish on it. I want to get a feel for this PikuPiku, so stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. Alrighty guys, we got this little bait tied on. I'm actually fishing this on a spinning rod. This thing only weighs like 5 grams, so it's a pretty light bait. Like I said, it's a finesse topwater bait. I've got it on a 7-foot Akuma TCS. This is their shaky head rod. It's a really good all-around rod. I hooked myself. I've got 10-pound braid, and I've actually got an 8-pound fluorocarbon leader. Now, I have a pretty small leader on here, just a couple of feet long. This might be something I actually might want to use monofilament with, because monofilament floats, fluorocarbon sinks, but with it being such a short leader, I don't think it's really going to matter, to be honest. So, like I said, I just want to test this bait out. It's really unique because the way that you work this bait is, you cast it out there and you literally just like micro twitch it. And if you look at it in the water, it really just kind of looks like a dying minnow or a dying bait fish, or honestly, it kind of looks like a bug. Have you ever taken a bug and just thrown it in the water and it just kind of sits there and vibrates on the surface? Or maybe you just happen to see a bug that hits the water and it makes those little small vibrations. That's what it kind of looks like. And the really cool thing is, because of the way that they've made this, it has kind of this strobing effect in the water. As it rotates back and forth, it kind of just flares out a flash of light, and I really, really like that. Now, one thing I can tell you right off the bat with this minnow is this is not gonna be a lure that I find fish with. This is gonna be a lure that once I know where fish are living, this is what I throw to them, because the way you work this bait, I mean, you work it incredibly slow. Like, I've been working this one cast for probably over a minute now, and it hasn't gone too far. So this is not something, again, you're gonna wanna try to locate fish with. Once you find fish, this is what you're gonna wanna throw at them to kind of clean up, to kind of catch all the fish that are in that area. Oh gosh, that was an awkward hook set. What is that? Is that a bass? Yep. Whew. Gosh, he came up there and crushed that thing. Whoa. Whoa. Here we go. The old PikuPiku, guys. It's a very interesting little bait, I'm not gonna lie. That was fun. That was a really awkward hook set. My braid was wrapped around one of my guides. I'll tell you one thing that I found out about this bait is the harder you try to cast it, a little bit more wild it is. I think because that bait is hard plastic and it's kind of curved a little funny, if it catches the air just a little bit weird, it wants to kind of dive. It casts pretty well. It actually casts better than I thought, but if you really try to wing that thing hard, it seems to want to kind of go a certain way. Your cast just kind of have to be a little bit more of a easier cast, a little bit more of a lob, not so much trajectory, not really winging it, so much velocity, just a really easy cast. Oh, God. Came back and got it. That was so cool. Woo! God. I'm guessing that was the same fish, but he come up there and missed it, which I haven't had really any fish miss this bait today. Easy there, buddy. Woo! That fish came up there and absolutely, bleeding. He's bleeding. I don't know why this fish is bleeding, guys. I didn't hook him in the gill, but I'm telling you what, before you let them go, you gotta do your fish a favor. Put some Mountain Dew on it. This works. I've used this to literally save fish before. Look, fish is not even bleeding anymore. You see that? it was just pouring out blood, and now it's not bleeding at all. You can see where it was bleeding, okay? I literally keep Mountain Dew with me for that exact reason all the time. Every tournament, I make a point to go to the store and get Mountain Dew. I remember hooking a fish at 6:30 a.m. in a tournament. It went till 3 o'clock. This fish was hooked deep on a square bill crankbait down the throat, and it was a bloody mess, guys. Like, I hate to admit it, but it was just a bloody mess. I poured a bunch of Mountain Dew on the fish. I got the crankbait out. I put it in a live well, and that fish lived throughout the entire day. Like, I was in a live well for that long, and it still lived. So I don't care if you don't think it works. I'm telling you, Mountain Dew will coagulate the blood. It'll stop it from bleeding, and that fish is going to live. Keep you some Mountain Dew with you. I do it anytime I'm tournament fishing, but now I've started to do it anytime I'm just out fun fishing, because I don't want to kill any fish, and you never know when a fish is going to get that bait so deep that it's going to start bleeding. Golly, just a fun bite. Just a fun bite. Fish just came up there. I was like, ow, hooked myself. Gotta be careful. This could really be beneficial to you because bass see, especially if it's a topwater type lake, bass see spooks, they see poppers, they see whopper ploppers, they see buzz baits. But showing them a topwater presentation that's extremely slow like this, it's just something different. And I can't tell you how important it is to just fish something that's different. Fishing something different is gonna mean the difference between you catching fish and not a lot of time. One thing, especially during the summer, if you have a lake that has a lot of shad on it, those bass will really start to eat these tiny little shad. And guys, what I've seen a lot of times with that is bass won't always hit these little balls of these tiny shad with their mouth open. They'll actually go through and kind of stun some of those shad. And so they'll power through them, they'll stun some, and then they can go off and pick them off. That's exactly what this thing kind of looks like. It just looks like a stunned bait fish on top of the water. So this time of the year, when you're in summer, when it's towards the end of summer and you got those little shad that the bass are eating, this bait could really shine. All right, guys, so let's talk about the PikuPiku. And I really don't know if I'm saying that right, so don't blow me up in the comments if I'm not saying that correct. Maybe it's PikuPiku for all I know. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to talk about this bait a little bit. Got to fish it today. A very interesting bait, something that I've really never fished before. Again, this bait is an extremely slow bait, right? You don't work it fast. It's not a bait that you want to cover a lot of water with. It's a bait that once you know where some fish are located, you want to throw to try to catch those fish, especially if they're highly pressured fish. To me, the best situation that it is to throw this is in clearer bodies of water, especially clear bodies of water when you have zero wind. And the interesting thing about that is, guys, usually when you have clear bodies of water, you want wind, right? You want some ripple on the surface. And I really think that you don't want it in this case because this bait is a visual bait. I think it could really work well if you're fishing shade lines on a clear body of water. Something that I see a lot of bass do on these clear bodies of water is some of them will stay shallow throughout the entire summer, but they'll really focus on shade. Sometimes they sit under docks, but sometimes they simply sit in shade pocket. You'll have some sort of overhanging tree and right below it, it might only be a foot or two of water, but because there's a bunch of shade there, those bass are going to be sitting in that shade. In that situation, this is a perfect time to pick up this little bait, this little PikuPiku. You might be able to throw some other topwaters or maybe even a wacky rig in that situation, but I think that this is just something different. And because again, it's something different, it might be the key to you catching a lot more fish. Now, another time where I can really see this working is anytime those fish are eating extremely small bait fish, whether that's small shad, maybe the young of the year shad, or any type of minnows. You know, there's certain lakes where bass actually eat a lot of just little minnows. Maybe it's a brook silverside or an emerald shiner, maybe it's smaller bait fish. In those situations, if you have bass located, that's where you want to pick up this little guy. Also, if the fish are eating bugs, this probably actually represents a bug better than anything else, the way it quivers on the top of the surface. So guys, if the fish are eating bugs, bugs, if they're eating little bait fish, this is a situation where you're gonna wanna pick up this little PikuPiku. Another situation is ponds. If you have a clearer body pond, which a lot of us fish in clear body ponds, maybe it's an old quarry, whatever it may be, if it's a clear water situation, this could really be a ticket. It's a very interesting bait. You know, today I was using a 7-foot Akuma TCS rod. This is a shaky head rod. It's got a very limber tip on it. This is a medium power rod. It's got a very limber tip on it. It actually bends a little bit more through the blank, so it's a little bit more of a moderate bend. That is really the style of rod that I like. I was using the 7-foot rod because I was really target casting with this particular bait today. Throwing it next to a lay down, or I was throwing it in a little shade pocket, or I was throwing it next to some rocks. And so if I was fishing this though off the bank and I was fishing it maybe on a grass line where I'm making a bomb cast with it, I might step it up to like a 7-foot 6-inch rod. But with that being said, you don't want to overpower this bait. So you want to use a medium light rod in that situation. The biggest thing you don't want to do with any of these style of really small baits is overpower them with your equipment. I mean, I got 10-pound braid, an 8-pound fluorocarbon leader. The fluorocarbon did not affect the way this bait fished at all today. Fluorocarbon does sink, but I'm using such a short leader that it's not gonna pull this bait down. And one thing I noticed about this is I rarely had a fish come up and miss the bait. The one fish that actually came up and missed the bait floated back to the surface and he came back and got it again. So this bait, the fish didn't seem to miss it. It's a smaller presentation. Very interesting bait. Guys, I will link this down in the description. If you guys wanna pick up some of these baits, click on the link in the description. Guys, I hope you enjoyed kind of this review of this bait. I'm gonna do a lot more of these in the future. If you did enjoy this video, give me a thumbs up. Guys, comment below if you have a question, and please subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.